Hello everyone, this is Ibrahim Aljada again. Today's lesson will be about the JEEM letter or Harful JEEM. Please follow the exact order of lessons in this course for ultimate benefit, starting with the introduction, then lesson 1, and so on. Lesson 1, the ba letter, Harful ba, should not be skipped as it is the main building block in this course. The following lesson is designed with the assumption the order of lessons in this course as encouraged here is followed as much as possible, and so, for practical reasons, less time will be spent explaining major concepts by the instructor. Thank you. This diagram shows you how the JEEM letter or the Ja letter is produced. The JEEM letter is produced by the middle of the tongue touching the upper palate. So the middle of the tongue or front to middle of the tongue touches the upper palate. Try it yourself. Say ja, ja, ja. You feel that the front to middle of your tongue is touching the upper palate with vibration produced in that region. Ja, ji, ju. Next session. This slide shows you the name of the Ja or JEEM letter in English and in Arabic. These are a couple of ways you could write the letter in English, JEEM. This is how the full name of the letter is written in Arabic. I highly recommend memorizing the full names of letters, but you could simply call it Ja or Ji or Ju, whatever makes you feel comfortable. So the full name of this letter in Arabic is JEEM. So how does the letter look like in Arabic? Here we see how the letter looks like when it is alone. This is the horizontal line, and you can see that part of the letter is above the line, and you have a dot in the center of a semicircle. This is how the letter looks like at the beginning of a word. Don't worry, we'll do some practice. And this is how the letter looks like in the middle of a word connected to a letter before and a letter after. And this is how the letter can look like at the end of a word. It could be on its own, like I showed you in the beginning, and it could be connected to a letter before it. So this is how it looks like at the end of a word. Let me show you how to write it. So how is the letter JEEM written in Arabic? You have the horizontal and vertical lines here. As I said, part of the letter is written above the line and part below the line, and then you have a dot in the center. So do you remember how we write it if it was at the beginning of a word? Please remember, if the letter is at the beginning of a word or connected to a letter before and a letter after, the whole letter is on the line and you add a dot underneath. Let me show you. This is if the letter is at the beginning of a word. Let's try again. Beginning of a word. How should it look like if it is connected to a letter before. This is how it looks like if it is connected to a letter before. This is connected to a letter before and a letter after. How about if it was on its own? Part of the letter is above the line, the rest is below the line, and think of it as a semicircle opening to the right side, and you have a dot in the center of the semicircle. Let's try that again. Above the line, below the line, semicircle, dot. This is when the JEEM letter is on its own. What if it was at the end of a word? At the end of a word, it could be on its own like this, or it could be connected to a letter before at the end of a word, like this. This is the extension of the letter before, and then you start the JEEM letter, and this is the dot. Let's try that again. Beginning of a word, middle of a word, connected to a letter before and a letter after, end of a word on its own, end of a word connected to a letter before. Let's simplify this and think of it as a geometrical figure or figures. Beginning of a word, think of it as a triangle with a cute angle here. Middle of a word, end of a word on its own, end of a word connected to a letter before. So this is a simple way of writing it. Choose whatever is convenient for you, as long as I know what you're writing. Next session. This session will be about the short vowels when they are attached to the JEEM letter. And the short vowels, if you remember, are inclusive of the fatha, dhamma, and kasra. And for convenience, I'd like to include the sukoon with the regular short vowels. Here we have the short vowels together, the fatha, dhamma, kasra, and sukoon or stop sign. So if we have the JEEM letter with a short vowel fatha, how do you pronounce this? Ja, ja. How about if it has a dhamma on top? The pronunciation will be ju, ju. What if the kasra is below the letter G, G? How about the sukoon with its two forms above the letter? J, j. Let's practice. I will be writing the JEEM letter on its own or connected to a letter before or after, and I would like you to guess the actual pronunciation based on the short vowel attached, whether it is a fatha or a dhamma or a kasra or a sukoon. Let's start. How do you pronounce this one? The JEEM is on its own, and it could only appear like this in a word at the end of a word. Jew, Jew. The JEEM here is at the beginning of a word with a kasra short vowel. G, G. The JEEM here is at the end of a word connected to a letter before with a short vowel fatha on top of the letter. Ja, ja. Let's try again. Ja, Ju, G, J, J. Let's try other formats. Ja, Ju, G, J, J. Another format. Ja, Ju, G, J, J. Ja, Ju, G, J, J. Excellent. Next session. In this session, we'll be dealing with the long vowels. Remember, the a, u, e, or in Arabic, we call them huruful mad, the extension letters. They extend the letter before them. Let's go there. So on this line, we have the alif long vowel, a, the waw long vowel, u, the ya long vowel, e. Alif, waw, u, ya, e. Try to figure out how we should be pronouncing the JEEM letter when it is attached to any of these long vowels. Ja, Ju, G. Let's try again. Ja, Ju, G. Let's practice. I will be drawing the JEEM letter attached to the long vowels. I want you to guess the right pronunciation before I actually present it to you. What do you think? Ja. The JEEM letter is attached to a long vowel alif here. It extends it with the short vowel fatha before. So it is ja. How about this one? G. What do you think of this one? Ju. I hope you got them all right. Next session. In this session, we'll be covering the tanween. Remember, the tanween fatha, 2 fathas. The tanween dhamma, 2 dhammas. The tanween kasra, 2 kasras. Let's go there. 2 fathas, 2 dhammas, 2 kasras. And remember from previous sessions, the tanween can only take place at the end of a word. When we have tanween fatha, we need to add the long vowel alif, which is silent here. How do you pronounce this JEEM with a tanween fatha, 2 fathas, and the silent long vowel at the end? Jan, jan. How about this JEEM letter with tanween dhamma on top? Remember the 3 formats of tanween dhamma? How do you pronounce this one with tanween dhamma? Jun, jun. How about tanween kasra, 2 kasras? Jin, jin. And remember, tanween can only happen at the end of a word. Jan, Jun, Jin. Let's practice. Jun, Jun. I want you to figure out the pronunciation before I say it. John, 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 John. Jin, Jin. Jan, Jan. Jan, Jan. John, John. The JEEM letter here is attached to a letter before with a tanween dhamma in one of its 3 formats. How about this one? Jin, jin. I hope you got them all right. Next session. In this session, we'll be covering shadda when a shadda is attached to a fatha, a dhamma, or a kasra. Let's go there. On the first line, shadda with fatha, and the JEEM letter with a shadda with fatha. Ja, ja. Here the JEEM is on its own, and this can only happen at the end of a word. Shadda with fatha, ja, ja. Try to predict what the pronunciation will be when you have a shadda with dhamma. Ju, ju. How about this one? Ju, ju. Remember, the shadda emphasizes the letter. Ju, ju. How about the shadda with kasra? Iji, iji. Again, iji, iji. Let's practice. Try to figure out the pronunciation before I present it to you. Ja, ja. Ju, ju. الجي الجي الجا الجا الجو الجو الجي الجي الجا الجا الجو الجو الجي الجي. What do you think the next session will be? Shadda with tanween. Let's go there. In this session we'll be covering Shadda with tanween fatha, with tanween dhamma, and with tanween kasra. Let's go there. On the first line we have Shadda with 2 fathas. And remember, because there is a tanween, this has to happen at the end of a word. And if there is tanween fatha, you need to add the silent long vowel alif, a. What do you think the pronunciation will be here for Shadda with 2 fathas when they are attached to the JEEM letter? Jan, jan. How about when you have a Shadda with 2 dhammas? Jun, jun. How about Shadda with 2 kasras? Jin, jin. I hope you got them all right. Let's practice. How do you pronounce this one? The JEEM letter is attached to a Shadda with tanween fatha, and we have to add the silent long vowel alif here. The pronunciation will be jan, jan. What about this one? The JEEM letter is attached to a letter before, jan, jan. الجن 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 الجن. The JEEM letter here is connected to a letter before. الجن الجن. I hope you got them all right, and I hope you feel comfortable with this concept. Next session. It is quiz time now. Let's see how much you learn. This word does exist in Arabic. It means crown. What do you think the pronunciation of this will be? You have a ta letter with a fatha short vowel, and then you have the alif long vowel, and then a tanween dhamma on the JEEM letter, which appears on its own at the end of a word. The pronunciation will be tajun, tajun. I hope you got it right. Next word. Here you have a tanween kasra, 2 kasras. Tajin, tajin. How about this word? You have a tanween fatha, 2 fathas, and a silent long vowel alif. Tajan, tajan. The word Taj means crown in Arabic. Next quiz. How about these words? Here we can talk about the feminine concept because we have the ta letter. When this is added, sometimes it can be used to address a female. So here in this word, try to pronounce it. In Arabic it means she arrived, she came. How do you pronounce it? You have the JEEM letter with a fatha, short vowel, and then you have the hamza on its own on the line with a short vowel, fatha, and then you have the ta letter with a sukoon. How do you pronounce this word? If you get it, you should feel good about yourself. Ja'at, ja'at, meaning she arrived, she came. This one is missing the ta letter, so this is addressing a male. How do you pronounce this? Ja'a, ja'a. These words are derived from a word that means wandering around or traveling the world. The first word here, tajubu, tajubu, meaning she is traveling around. And this is addressing a female because it has the ta letter. It doesn't mean that the attachment of a ta letter is always an address towards a female. No. With time, you'll figure out the words that are addressing a female or feminine versus the words that are addressing a male based on practice. In this one, tajubu, she is traveling around. Tajubu. What about this word? Try to figure out the pronunciation. Pause the video. What do you think? Jabat, jabat. The ta letter again here is addressing a feminine. Jabat, jabat. What about this one? This works for both males and females. It doesn't have the ta letter. Again, the addition of the ta letter does not mean we are addressing feminine dialogue here. This word should be pronounced as, you have a hamza on top of alif with a short vowel fatha, and then you have the jim attached to a long vowel waw, and then you have the ba letter at the end with a dhamma. We covered all the aspects related to the pronunciation of this word. What do you think the pronunciation will be? Ajubu, ajubu, meaning I am traveling around. This is present tense related. Ajubu. Next practice. This word does exist in Arabic, meaning water is flowing heavily. The water from a fountain, let's say, is flowing heavily. Try to pronounce this one. This is difficult, but if you can get it right, you should be happy about yourself. This has a tanween fatha at the end. How do you pronounce it? Thajjajan, thajjajan. How about this word? You have a tanween dhamma here in one of its three formats. How do you pronounce it? Thajjajun, thajjajun. I hope you got them right. Next practice. The following are fake or imaginary words to help you understand the concepts we covered. And you should be able to pronounce these fake words based on all what we've had from the beginning of the course so far. So what do you think of this first word? ثباجا ثباجا ثباجا. How about this word? You have alif mamduda or extended alif at the beginning, then a jeem. The tha at the end has one of the three forms of tanween dhamma or two dhammas. How do you pronounce this word? Ajathun, ajathun, ajathun. Excellent. Next practice. Let's try these two imaginary or fake words. They are difficult. If you can figure out the right pronunciation, you should really feel happy about your progress in this course. Let's start with the first word. You have the JEEM, ba, ta, and hamza letters. We covered them all. You have a bunch of short vowels, fatha and kasra, already covered. You have a hamza with tanween kasra, two kasras. How do you pronounce this word? Let's try together. You can pause the video first, try it on your own, and then come back. Let's try. Jababita'in. Let's try again. Jababita'in. I hope you got it right. What about this word? Pause the video, test yourself. We covered all the concepts related to the right pronunciation of this fake word. Let's try. How do you pronounce it? Jabuthita'un. Jabuthita'un. Might sound silly, but it's helpful for your practice. Next practice. And here I'm showing you how to turn letters into geometrical shapes for simple presentation so that you feel easy about writing full words. As long as I know what you're writing, that should be fine for a beginner. See what makes you feel comfortable. How do you pronounce this fake word? Pause the video, try. We covered all aspects related to the correct pronunciation of this word. Try it. Okay? Let's try together. Jathu'ibatin. Jathu'ibatin. I hope you got it right. Try on your own. Create fake words. This will help you strengthen what you've learned so far. We come here to the end of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next lesson. Bye for now.